Hey, what's up, what's up? Welcome to episode 45. Today we're talking about how to generate an extra 10,000 volume in BOGO week. So, a lot of you, if you're in the US or Canada, you know that this week in doTERRA, it's BOGO week, buy one, get one. And whether you're watching this live with me today or whether you're watching the recording of this for a future BOGO week, you're gonna wanna pay close attention because I'm gonna show you a strategy that you can use every time doTERRA does BOGOs. So this is a strategy that I personally executed and we used to generate 22,000 extra volume during 1 week of BOGOs. Yeah, should I repeat that in case you missed it? We use the strategy that I'm going to share with you here to generate an extra 22,000 volume in 1 week of BOGOs. So BOGO week is super powerful because it's exciting. It just kind of jumps things up. It gives people something different to do during BOGO week. Hi Barbara, hi Vanessa, hi Selena. Good to see you guys. So Vanessa says, yay, yeah, extra volume, right? So the three things that I'm going to go over with you in this video are: one, talk about what you want to get out of BOGO week if you're doing it right, okay? Two, we're going to talk a little bit about BOGO etiquette because there's a few unspoken rules that you really need to follow if you're going to do BOGO week ethically, let's put it that way. And then three, I'm going to show you the actual strategy. So first of all, if you're brand new to doTERRA, doTERRA does this thing called BOGO week every once in a while. It's not a guaranteed thing. It's totally surprised when it happens, but we kind of have a feeling for when they do BOGO week. They typically do one in February, one in July, and one in November. Now, it's not a promise, but historically, that's kind of the pattern that they've gotten into. So we like to plan for the best, right? Which is BOGO week. BOGO week's the best. Now, BOGO week can really give you a huge boost in your volume because it happens after the second half of the month. So they never do it at the beginning of the month. They always do it after the 15th, which means that most of your predictable LRP orders have already gone through. People have already placed their 125 or 150 PV order in order to get their free product of the month, get all the rewards, etc. And then doTERRA pops out the extra incentive, which of course is BOGO week. So you can really jumpstart your volume during BOGO week. The real question is, can you sustain that volume? Because it's one thing to, throw an extra 3, 5, or 10 or 20,000 volume during BOGO week, but it's a totally different thing to keep that momentum going. And that's going to be part of the strategy that we're going to do today. So if you're not the kind of person that typically takes notes during these kinds of trainings, I encourage you to get out a pen and a paper and to actually take notes during this one because the logistics of this BOGO strategy are super crucial, all right? And because today is Monday, which is the first week of this current BOGO week, you're going to want to execute this strategy really quickly if you're not already doing a strategy. So let's see. Selena says, what script do you like to use when texting? Okay, Selena, we're going to get into that, all right? I'll get there. So we talked about what BOGO week is. It's a big boost. You want to do it sustainably. Now let's talk about BOGO week etiquette, all right? So one of the sad things that tends to happen sometimes during BOGO week is everybody's really excited. You're throwing out all your Facebook posts. You're shooting texts and emails to all of your friends and your customers. And sometimes people end up ordering from the wrong person. All right, and what it can look like is this. Let's say that I put together a BOGO Facebook group. I'd say, invite everybody, okay? And then people in the Facebook group that aren't my contacts start contacting me and saying, Andrew, can you order this BOGO for me? And I go ahead and do that, even though they're not my contact. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Always make sure that orders happen through the right person. So on my team, we've got a BOGO group of over 400 people that we've put together. And anytime someone messages or, writes a comment in the group and says, I want that On Guard, Breathe Free BOGO, I make sure that I find out who their wellness advocate is. And if they have their own account, then we make sure they order through their own account because I want them to get the rewards points if they're ordering 50 PV or more, and we make sure it's an LRP, etc. Do you get what I'm saying? You guys, would you just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand if you understand the ethics that we're talking about here? It's really a shame when somebody gets a little bit greedy during BOGO week and starts scooping up volume that isn't theirs. And this is actually something, I'm going to be honest with you here, this is something that I learned the hard way because when I did my very first BOGO strategy, nobody had explained this to me, and for some reason I was so excited about it that I just didn't think it through. And I wasn't trying to steal other people's volume, but I didn't bother asking who's your wellness advocate. And so whenever people would message, I'd be like, great, another order, we needed the volume. So I just place it where I needed it. And then later on down the road, I found out, I should have asked to make sure that that order got put under the right person. So now every time we do BOGO week, that's always one of our practices, because ethics, I mean, without our ethics, what are we, right? So I just want to make sure that you're committed to that, because the strategy I'm going to show you here, it's incredibly powerful, and you want to do it powerfully, and you want to do it with high levels of integrity too, right? Okay, let's see. Vanessa says, you learn the hard way when you're new. We all have been there. Thank you. Yeah, and then hopefully you can learn from my mistake and not do it yourself, right? Andrea, good to see you, and thank you for your thumbs up, you guys. So those are the etiquettes of BOGO, just making sure that orders always happen under the right person or the right account, all right? So, oh, by the way, I kind of glossed over this. I want to make sure you're clear on this. You're going to have people ordering during BOGO week who are doTERRA members and people who aren't doTERRA members. If somebody already has their own doTERRA membership, they should be ordering their BOGOs from their own account. Now, there's an exception to that, and that's if they start doing the team BOGO relay thing, which could look like, it usually looks like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people get together, and one person is in charge of ordering Monday's BOGO, one person is in charge of ordering 2 days BOGO, etc., and they lump their BOGOs together in order to save on shipping costs. Do you understand what I mean? So that's the one exception to this rule. But if you've got someone that just says, I want Wednesday's BOGO, and that's all they're looking for, or maybe they just want a couple BOGOs, they should probably be ordering under their own account, because that's why they have an account, is it not? Yeah, so they can get their own discounts and get in the habit of placing their own orders. So what people usually do wrong in this context is, hi Kathy, good to see you, is somebody might say, oh, just send me all of your orders and then I'll place the orders wherever I need them on accounts on my team. And that can get a little bit questionable as far as ethics go, just because, again, if my friend Kathy is going to order 3 of Wednesday's BOGOs, well, that's going to be way over the 50 PV limit. So I should have Kathy order those 3 BOGOs as a one-time LRP order on her own account, because she's going to get the rewards points and the shipping rewards. If I collected her order and I placed it somewhere else on my team where I think I want the volume, well, I'm going to deny Kathy of those rewards. And that's just not right. Don't you think? So let's make sure that people get the volume where it should be, that the right people get the rewards, because, I mean, they're being rewarded for being good customers. So, and we want to perpetuate that. It's this abundance mentality. And if you have the right abundance mindset, BOGO week is going to be freaking amazing for you. Okay? So with that, are you ready to jump into the actual strategy for how to blow up BOGO week, right? Okay, so just so you know, Kathy, I'm so glad you're on this BOGO or on this Facebook Live, because a lot of what I'm going to teach you guys strategic-wise is stuff that Kathy shared with me. Kathy was a huge inspiration. She actually used a BOGO week to go diamond, and then we just bumped into each other at dinner one day, and she told me about it, and I said, I could do this too. And so I had 2 weeks to prepare, you guys. We had to generate over 20,000 volume to make up the difference between where we were and going diamond, and we did it. And we had 2 weeks to prepare, or no, we had a week and a half to prepare and 1 week to execute. And this strategy is what helped me generate all that volume, and we popped 2 ranks. It was really, really cool. So I'm going to give this to you in steps. So this is what you're going to write down, all right? So Kathy says, blue pass platinum to diamond. Me too. We both were gold, and then we went diamond just from this BOGO strategy. So it's really fun. By the way, Kathy, if you have any tips or anything that I missed, feel free to chime in, because you are totally a pro at this. Kathy's a super solid doTERRA leader. So, all right, here's the strategy. Step number 1. You need to have a BOGO exclusive Facebook group. All right, so go into Facebook, start a new BOGO. I called mine Hero BOGO with a little doTERRA O in the word hero. And you put a little pretty cover photo on it. And just so you know, doTERRA has put together, the Blues and Presidentials have put together a really cool graphics package for this BOGO week, and they usually do it for every time doTERRA does BOGO week. If you don't have those graphics, text your Diamond upline or Facebook message them and ask them where you can get those graphics, because you don't have to spend a lot of time putting images together, because doTERRA's already done a lot of it for you. Okay, so a big part of this Facebook group is generating tons and tons of excitement. This is going to be the hub of where all of your BOGO week activity happens. So throughout the week, during BOGO week, you're going to do posts, you're going to do Facebook Lives, you're going to do product education, you're going to do giveaways. So this is why you have to have this group, and it needs to be BOGO week exclusive, because the focus needs to be really, really intense if you want it to work the way that I'm going to show you. Okay, so BOGO exclusive Facebook group. Then step 2 is getting everybody invited. Now this is where it gets really, really fun. what I learned from this BOGO strategy is that BOGO week is perfect for maximizing sharers, all right? When you look at most of the doTERRA strategies we do throughout the year, they usually focus on builders, not sharers. And so, we're doing incentives like an incentive to host 2 classes this month and you get this for free. Or, we do a push to premier or a streak to silver incentive or whatever. But most of the strategies are for builders. Very few strategies focus on sharers, which is a shame because sharers have just as many contacts as builders do. They just don't have the ongoing commitment that a builder does. And so sometimes we think, well, we should just forget them and not put energy there. Don't forget your sharers. So this is what you do for step 2 of the BOGO strategy, okay? First, you invite everybody that you can think to invite. So all of your builders, all of your personal customers, and all of your personal prospects. So people that like oils, but for some reason they've never enrolled. Maybe they haven't come to a class yet, whatever. But your builders, your customers, and your prospects, you put all those people in. Then you invite your builders to do the same thing. And don't just say, hey guys, message everyone you know and add them to the Facebook group. You really want to build it up. So I messaged my team and I told them over the weekend when doTERRA announced BOGO week, because we're not for sure it's going to happen, but we were pretty sure. So I messaged them and I said, hey, you guys, BOGO week is happening. We just got the email from doTERRA and it's super exciting because if you do it right, you can generate thousands of extra volume and it just creates so much fun excitement for your team. So let's talk about what we want to do. And so we kind of chatted back and forth in a group text between me and my main builders, and we decided to keep doing the same strategy that we've done in the past because it's a good strategy, right? So I just encourage them to do the same thing, to invite all of their people, their builders, their customers and prospects, and then to tell their builders to do the same thing. So you get this ball rolling, right? Now, the third thing that you do for step 2 is you invite every sharer you can think of. The sharers are so crucial because you guys think about what sharers do. Sharers share not because they're being compensated, not because they're building a business, they want to hit rank. They share because they're excited about it. And if you can bring a sharer into a really high energy environment, hey Tamara, good to see you guys. Tamara Bartmus is also a BOGO pro. She's super cool. So if you have anything if you see anything I skip over, Tamara, chime in here. Okay, so you guys, you bring the sharers into this group because it's a super high energy environment and that fires sharers up like crazy. So to give you an idea of how this worked, the first time I did this strategy, after me and my builders invited everybody, we had all of our personal people, we had about 150 people added to the group. Then when we turned on the sharers, another almost 300 extra bodies ended up in the group. And it was crazy how much excitement there was. Okay, so super, super cool. So that was step 2, get everybody invited to the group. All right, while you're doing all the inviting, you post things in the group. You post just a little blurb about why you're excited about BOGO week. You might do a 2-minute Facebook Live just inviting everybody and saying why everyone's going to want to be part of the community. Oh, Kathy says is a private or public group. So you guys, we make our BOGO group closed. So it's not secret. It's just a closed group, meaning that everybody has to be approved because of one simple reason. 2 reasons actually. The first reason is that when it's an exclusive feeling kind of club thing, it just makes people want to be there more. All right. When it's public, people think, oh, I could come in and I could not be there. I could be there if I want to. But when you have to be approved, it just makes it a little more desirable. The second reason is when you do your product education, we like to not have to filter quite as intensely. And if it's a closed group, we don't have to be so excruciatingly strict with compliance. Does that make sense to you? So that's why I like to do a closed group. All right. So you're inviting everybody, you're posting during the inviting process, and Kathy showed me a really, really funny funny meme that she found. It was Oprah, and she says, you get an oil, you get a free oil, you get a free oil. Because you know how when Oprah does her talk show, she's like, you get a car, you get a car. So it was that, but about oils. You just kind of post cute stuff like that to make it fun, all right? So got that? That was step 2. Invite your builders, your customers, your prospects, and especially your sharers, all right? Step number 3 is, this is how you turn on the sharing and the inviting your sharers to invite more people. And this is really, really important. This is something that Kathy taught me and it worked like a charm. You create a surprise package that somebody wins for inviting lots of people to your BOGO group. So it's a mystery box. Nobody knows what's inside it, and you do a Facebook Live at the very beginning of your BOGO week, all right? So I've got this box, and you can see it's full of all kinds of fun prizes. You don't know what it is. I do a short Facebook Live saying, we are so stoked for BOGO Week, and BOGO Week is more fun when you've got lots of friends doing BOGO Week with you. So, to make this a party, we've got this little surprise package. It's full of about $200 retail worth of surprises. There's some things that you can buy from doTERRA, and there's some doTERRA things that you can't even buy. All right, and I'm gonna show you what you put in the box in a second, you guys, okay? And I say, here's how you can be entered to win this box. For every 10 people that you invite to this BOGO group, you get one entry into the drawing for this box. So if you invite 100 friends, you get 10 entries into the drawing. If you invite 40 friends, you get 4 entries. So all I need you to do is just go click that invite button and invite as many friends as you think would want to be here and would really like being part of our BOGO experience this week, okay? And then in the comments, just comment how many people you invited, and then we'll jot it down how many entries you get for the drawing. And we're gonna do this drawing on Wednesday, which is in the middle of BOGO week. So make sure that today you get all of your friends added, and then write in the comments how many friends you invited, okay? And by the way, you're gonna want this because the prizes are so much fun, okay? Some of the stuff that's in here is stuff that you probably already use, and so you're gonna want more of it. But the prizes that are in here that you can't buy, they're exclusive things, and it's really cool to get those little treats that are only available on very special occasions. And so I promise you, whoever wins this is going to have a blast with it, okay? So you guys see how fantastically that sets it up for people to share. That's why you guys, when I remember I did that Facebook Live, it took me 2 minutes, okay? And I mean, it took me 2 minutes to put the box together and 2 minutes to do the video. And when I logged in a few hours later, I could not believe the hundreds of extra bodies that had been added to our Facebook group. And all these sharers, people that I didn't even know like to share oils in some cases. People like, I added 47 people, I added 99 people. It was nuts. And anyway, and then when we did the drawing, people were so excited for the winner. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what's in this box, you guys. You can put whatever you want in it. You just go through your little doTERRA stock and you find things that you have on hand. So I like to have some things that everybody wants. Like I put an iris diffuser in this one. I'm gonna have to change what's in my box because now I can't use this because this is in a public Facebook Live, right? And I have to have one of these for my BOGO group. I've got a doTERRA body bar, so you know this is pretty cheap, right? That's like $5, $6, something like that. I've got a grapefruit oil, so $18 wholesale or whatever. Cedarwood is $13. So I have 2 oils, so those aren't super pricey. I always like to do something healing hands related, okay? So this is rose lotion, and I love that because when I do the announcement offering or announcing who won this, that's when I go through and unveil what's inside the box. And I always want to give a shout out to Healing Hands and remind everyone, by the way, if you didn't win this, you can still add this to your LRP order, and all the money goes to Healing Hands, charitable ventures, things like that. And then in this box, I put a Mother's Day kit that has red mandarin, sunny citrus, and kumquat. And this is cool because you can't buy any of those oils, all right? So, and I don't know how much this is actually worth. I need to add it up, but it's well over $100 retail. So see how I did that? And let's see, Kathy says Harmony kits, one rollers, a Mavi, exactly. Anything that you have on hand that makes the kit really, really special. And you don't have to go and order a whole bunch of extra stuff. And if you're newer to doTERRA and you don't have a big closet full of doTERRA like Kathy and I do, call your upline and say, could you donate some stuff for my BOGO prize box? Because it's gonna help us generate a lot more volume. And of course your upline will be happy to contribute, okay? So that was step 3, the prize that stimulates a lot of shares and customers, bringing more people into your BOGO group, all right? So at this point, you guys, we're still on day 1 of BOGO week. All of this happens really, really fast. So the setup is a little bit intense, but it's worth the reward at the end, okay? So next, the 4th step is posts and videos, all right? So you're gonna be posting frequently throughout the week. The lovely thing about Facebook now is that you can now schedule posts in advance. So what I like to do during BOGO week is I hop in the morning, and I put all the posts for the day right then and there so that I don't have to worry about it throughout the day, and it makes it really easy. So like what I did this morning is as soon as doTERRA announced the first BOGO, I grabbed an image from it, I scheduled it to go out at 9 a.m. this morning, and I pushed, schedule, and there it was. And then I have a couple other things that that are scheduled for today too. Like what we're doing this week is every day of the week, one of the leaders on my team is going to do a Facebook Live, like a 3 to 5 minute Facebook Live about that day's oils. And so today, for example, in the United States, we have buy an On Guard, get a breathe free. So Becky is hopping into our Facebook group and she's going to do a 3 to 5 minute video about all the things that you can use On Guard for, all the things you can use breathe for, and some of the experiences that she or her customers have had with those oils. And it's again, just to generate more conversations. Now, what I did today when I posted that very first BOGO is I always like to make sure a few things are included in the post. So write this down. So you, of course, list the oils, buy an On Guard, get a breathe free. You list the prices, wholesale and retail, all right? The reason why is because if you have a wholesale membership, you get the wholesale pricing. If you don't, you have to pay retail. This is really important, you guys. I highly recommend that you don't sell wholesale oils at wholesale prices to people who don't have a membership because it devalues the membership. So in our BOGO group, everybody knows if you only want one BOGO and you don't want to sign up for a membership, then you pay the retail price, which is still cool because it's a great deal. But if you want the very best prices, well, you get a membership, okay? So I list the oils for that day's BOGO, I list the wholesale and the retail prices, and then I list what each oil is good for. So I'll just list like 5 things On Guard is good for and 5 things Breathe is good for. And you guys remember how I said I like to put a closed group together so that it's not public? Well, when I list the oil uses, I'm not very compliant. Like I say what On Guard is actually for. I don't say it's good for occasional immune support or whatever stupid thing, okay? Or Breathe is for occasional respiratory support. I say what you actually use them for because that's what your people in the group are going to relate to, which is why we needed a closed group, okay? So that's what I put in the post. And then I ask as many questions as I can throughout the whole week to stimulate dialogue. All right. So like in the post today, I listed those things that I talked about. And then I said, what do you like to use On Guard and Breathe for? And so today, all these people have been listing their favorite uses of those 2 oils. And you know what happens in Facebook? It's really important. The more conversation that's going, Facebook algorithms prefer those things. So, you know, when you get notifications on Facebook and it says so-and-so, it says Tiffany Joy commented on a post in the BOGO group. Well, Facebook is going to show more content from your group if there's more dialogue. So if all you do is post a boring image of buy an On Guard, get a breathe free, and you don't stimulate any conversation around it, very few people are likely to even see it. But if you have a lot of chatter, then Facebook's algorithm says, oh, that's important. Everybody likes it. We're going to promote it to even more people. And so people just get a lot more dings, in their notifications to stimulate viewership of that content. So that's what you do throughout the week, you guys. You do a daily post listing what the BOGO is, what the price is, and the uses. You stimulate conversation about it. I really recommend you do some Facebook Lives. Facebook's algorithm heavily prefers Facebook Live. They don't prefer posting YouTube videos or Vimeo videos because Facebook really wants as much of the content to be in-house. And so the algorithms that Facebook uses that dictate who sees what, because we're all bombarded with info on Facebook, it really likes Facebook Live videos. So put some makeup on, do your hair, do it in your pajamas, whatever, okay? But it's good to look good, right? And do a little 3 to 5 minute video each day on that day's oils. Do it earlier in the day because then more people will have time to see it. And I really recommend that you don't do it all yourself. Involve your team. This is a great opportunity for you to get your builders and maybe even some enthusiastic sharers to contribute to the content, and then they get used to being in the spotlight, things like that, okay? So before I go on to the last step in the strategy, let me go ahead and catch up on questions and things like that here. Okay. Let's see. Tiffany says, I'm just joining, but I'm curious. If I'm in your BOGO group, you offer wholesale to everyone and gather. Oh, Tiffany, go back and watch the earlier part of this video. We already talked about that, okay? So we make sure that anyone that says they want to order, we find out who their wellness advocate is. And if they don't have a membership, we'll either help them sign up under their wellness advocate or have them order retail through their wellness advocate, okay? Good question, Tiffany. Okay, let's see. Oh, Tiffany says you just answered me. Cool. Alrighty. Let's see. Tamara says something I'm doing different this time is creating a new event each day that sends out notifications. Oh, that's really cool. Tamara, it only lets me see the first two sentences of your comment, so I'm hoping I get what you're saying. So you're creating an event within your group, and that way it sends out extra notifications. So I'm not sure how that works with Facebook's visibility algorithms, but Tamara, I'm curious, as you're going throughout the week, write us some comments here on the video and tell us how that works, because that's really cool. Tamara's really innovative, you guys. Matthew says great info. Awesome. All right, so let's go to step number 4. Sorry, there's 2 more steps. Step number 4 is actually collecting the info and processing the orders. So what I like to do is if you post a BOGO, then you can write in you tell them in the post, you say, write in the comments how many of this BOGO you want. And what that means is if people don't have their own membership, they're going to be commenting. They're going to say, I want 1, I want 2, whatever, right? So you just do it through the comments. Now, if someone already has their own membership, then they can go and order through their own account, of course, or if they're doing a relay, meaning they've got a few friends that live in their local area and they want to save on shipping, then, they're in charge of figuring out who's responsible for placing the order. So if you've got a few friends and you all want to take advantage of lots of BOGOs, well, that's really smart to save on shipping. And so one person's in charge of ordering everybody's On Guard and Breathe on Monday. One person's in charge of ordering everybody's orders for whatever Tuesday is. And then because you all live in the same area, then, you just figure out, distribute all the oils and everybody Venmos each other or PayPals each other whatever is due, whatever balances are due. And that's how that works, okay? If somebody comments in the comments and says, I want this BOGO, and they don't have their own account, then you've got to find out who their wellness advocate is and help them order through their wellness advocate. That's your job as the leader in this group, okay? Or as a participant in your own group, all right? Never steal other people's orders. Okay. Timber says something I'm doing is asking my family members to comment on all the posts in her BOGO group to help with, that's really smart. So Timber is asking people to be extra vocal. And you guys, I told my builders that too. I made sure everybody knows and we all understand that it's our job to generate all the excitement. Don't wait to see if it happens. Be proactive, all right? So that was step number 4, which is collecting the orders, making sure all the orders get processed. Now step number 5 is very crucial, because this is how you make BOGO Week sustainable. Let's say that you do this strategy. You could do steps 1 through 4 just as I've showed you, and you could generate an extra 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 volume or more, okay, in a week if you do this with huge intensity, huge enthusiasm. The question though is, how do you keep it going next month when there isn't BOGO Week? And the answer is the same answer that's been the answer for sustainability from the beginning of your doTERRA journey. Enrollments and LRP. So the question is, how do you turn a BOGO order into an enrollment order? And this is what we like to do in our BOGO group. So I like to offer an enrollment incentive. So one of the posts that's happening today, since it's our first day of BOGO Week, is we're saying, find out how you can get this book, which is the Advanced Oil Magic textbook. Find out how you can get this book for free. So there's 2 ways people can get it for free. If you have your own doTERRA membership already and you order all 5 BOGOs, then we'll buy you this book. If you don't have a doTERRA membership already and you enroll for $35 plus whatever BOGOs you want that day, it has to be 100 PV total, okay? Then we'll buy you this book for free. So those are the 2 ways that in our BOGO group we get enrollments. We say we get enrollments for people that aren't enrolled. We tell them pay the $35 and place a 100 PV order, and you get this for free. Now, this week in the United States, it's super cool because if they do that, they'd get the book for free and they would get 50 points from doTERRA because that's our special for this month. Whatever month your BOGO Week happens to be in, if you're watching the recording of this in the future, there's probably some kind of special that's happening anyway. So play off of that. Does that make sense? So for us, you guys, when we buy this in bulk, it's $220 in the United States to buy 10 of these. So that costs us, is that $22 a book, including free shipping. So that means that I'm spending $22 to get an enrollment. That is crucial for us because we have to have the enrollments in order to do a wellness consult for people and get them on LRP, which is how we make the volume sustainable. Sorry, my hair is just crazy today. Does that make sense to you? So, Kristen says, where do you order that book from? I want some for my team. Oilmagicbook.com, Kristen. Oilmagicbook.com. Now, You guys, you can make your enrollment incentive whatever you want. For us, the reason why we're making it 100 PV plus the $35 is just because I want them to get that 50 PV from doTERRA, the 50 points, all right? You could do whatever you want. In fact, if you can't afford these books, you could get the small book. So this is Advanced Oil Magic, and that's Essential Oil Magic. And this guy, I think, is like $15 if you buy a case of them, all right? And so that makes it a little less, money out of pocket. Now, for us, the reason why we do books as incentives is one simple reason. When the customer knows how to use their products, they're going to use more of them, get more results, and they're going to order more. So my favorite ideal scenario is it's BOGO Tuesday. Someone says, I do want that BOGO. And then we say, okay, if you get your own $35 membership and this BOGO and add on a few extra things you need, you'll get whatever bonus doTERRA is offering this month, plus you'll get this book. And what happens is they get their oils from their BOGO order, and then we do a wellness consult. We walk them through this book, show them how to look at their ailments, all the amazing protocols in it, show them they're looking through all this yummy eye candy and seeing all these other oils that they don't have, and pretty soon they become an oil fanatic. And that's what we need to make this hype of BOGO Week sustainable. We need lots of people that have good resources, high education, so that they keep consuming more oils, getting more results, and hence consuming more oils. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so let me go through your questions here. Let's see, Vanessa, here's someone's, okay, let me go back here. All right, here, let's see. Kristen says, where you order the book from, we answered that. Vanessa, would the new team member have to put 100 PV in one order for the 50 PV promo? Yes. Vanessa, you're asking that specifically about the United States special this month, so just don't get confused by this if it doesn't apply to you, okay? But right now in the United States, the deal is place one single 100 PV or more enrollment order, get 50 points for free, all right? And it has to be one order. So they couldn't do a BOGO each day of the week for only 20 PV or whatever and have that add up to 100. That wouldn't get them the points, all right? So good question. All right, and by the way, you guys, if you don't want to do $35 plus 100 PV, if you feel like you want to offer an incentive for enroll with $35 and just get one or two of today's BOGO and you still get a prize, that gets to be up to you. Just make it simple and very clear and make it exciting. All right, let's see. Eve says, do your builders buy their own books for their enrollments? Eve, yes. Eve, it depends on which builder it is. So the people on my front line, they buy their own books because they're silvers and above, and they've got some extra resources because they've built their business. And so they buy their own books. When I have builders that are like brand newbies or people on my team lower down, I always like to reinvest in my team. So for example, I use basically all of my Fast Start money goes back into my team. When I have new builders sign up, I'll usually do some kind of deal with them. I'll say, if you do this many classes this month, I'll send you $200 worth of oil so that you have plenty of oils to sample. I'll do something like that. Or I'll say, if you've got your classes booked this month for your launch week, I'll send you a box of books. And I actually do that because I take my Fast Start money and buy a box of books and send it to my builders so that they have the resource. And it always comes back, because what I've found is when people get a book like this, when a new customer gets a book like this, or if I have 10 new customers on my second or third or fourth level that have this book, well, that's a whole bunch of LRP orders that start happening. So it always comes back to me. So Eve, if you get to make that choice, I would get clear on what you want to do with your team and then just be consistent with it. Let's see, Vanessa says, or do several BOGOs that 100 PV, will that still count? Vanessa, you're just asking, she's asking about this US enrollment order thing. Vanessa, I'm going to answer that in the comments for you later, okay? Okay. Hi, Michelle. That's nice of you. Hi, Hanson. Okie dokie. Oh, Vanessa says, got it. Cool. All right. Charlotte says, if everyone is ordering their own BOGOs, how do you direct the volume where you need it? Charlotte, some volume you won't be able to direct where you need it. So the good news is everything's abundance for you, okay? So if you've got one super active leg on your team, and that's where most of the volume happens during BOGO week because everyone's ordering through their own account, that's okay. That's great. Now, it's really cool when you have a whole bunch of people ordering on all of your legs because, you might be wanting to use this volume to hit a new rank. but you don't always control that, okay? Because it's not ideal to do that thing where you say, you know, rob from Peter to pay Paul, like take the volume from this leg and put it over on this leg. Keep the volume on the legs where it belongs, because the people that are the leaders of that team, they've earned that because they're the ones that helped build that team. So the volume needs to stay where it belongs. Does that make sense to you, Charlotte? Now, one thing you can do to direct the volume where you need it is through new enrollments and through retail orders. So if you personally take it upon you to bring in a whole bunch of new people through your shares and your shares and your own contacts, well, then a lot of that volume that are your contacts, you can direct that volume to wherever the heck you want it. And so if you have a kind of a weaker leg, then contact someone on your team and say, hey, I'm going to be placing a whole bunch of BOGO orders under you. You'll get some extra points from that because it's just from retail customers. It'll be great for you because you can get free things with those points, and it'll help me because then the volume will be there where we need it. Does that make sense to you? Okay, coolio. Michelle says, when do you do enrollment? If they buy multiple BOGOs, if you give, okay, if they buy multiple BOGOs, if you get, what? If they buy multiple BOGOs, you give them the wholesale price? I don't know. Okay, Michelle, the way that we do it is the only people who get wholesale pricing is the people who have their own membership. So if someone's been added to our BOGO group and they don't have their own doTERRA membership, that's why we're offering the enrollment incentive, because we want them to know, first of all, every BOGO post has the retail and the wholesale pricing. So they can see that Breathe is $27 retail and only $20 wholesale, or whatever the retail is. And you know, nobody wants to pay their retail if they see them side by side. They're like, how do I get wholesale? And that's why we have the incentive, because every retail customer who wants a BOGO, we remind them, we say, hey, just so you know, if you want to get wholesale pricing on this BOGO and every doTERRA order going forward, all you have to do is pay the $35 and add a few extra things to your order. And you'll get this incentive from doTERRA, and you'll get this amazing book. Plus, all your future orders will be way cheaper. It really saves you a lot of money. So what do you want to do? What works best for you? Okay, does that make sense, Michelle? And then if someone doesn't want to enroll, then they just pay the retail price through their wellness advocate who brought them to that BOGO group. All right? Okay. Trudy says it's worth the investment in them with the book because they will continue to order. Absolutely. I mean, you guys, this book is stuffed full of protocols. Literally what I do for my wellness consults is I find out their top 3 health concerns. I put them on the protocol in the book. I just turn the protocol section and it tells them every product to order, how many drops a day, how many times a day, etc. Okay, Trudy says you should send them to the person who invited them to order. Exactly. Yep. Okay. Charlotte says, okay, got it. Kristen, I love surprising my builders with Christmas gifts like those books. Worth the investment. It's super cool. I agree. Okay, so you guys, that's it. That's the entire strategy. So I'm going to come on later today and tomorrow. I'm going to look at any questions you guys have about this strategy. Feel free to post them. Because Tamara and Kathy are on this, they might be sweet enough to answer some questions too, because they're so good at this kind of stuff. But you know now the exact 5-step strategy to making BOGO Week work. You guys, if you do it the way that I've laid it out for you, it'll be really successful. Now, I can't guarantee any results if you skip any of the steps. Like if you just post blasé stuff, if you don't make it exciting the way that I've described, well, you might have crickets in your group, okay? If you don't do the thing where you do the prize box and incentivize your sharers to bring a lot of people, you might not have enough bodies in your group to generate all the volume that you want, all right? So my advice is, because this strategy has proven itself over and over again, I highly recommend that you just do it exactly the way I've laid it out with the exact 5 steps I've just given you. Because, again, we use this strategy to generate 22,000 volume in 1 week. It was awesome, okay? And I've met lots of teams that have generated an extra 2, 3, 4, 5,000 volume in a week, 10,000, whatever it is. So do this, generate huge volume this week, have fun, have a lot of fun, build relationships with your customers, and then do step 5 in the strategy to make sure that you're converting as many people into enrolled members with a wellness consult set up, so that by the time next month rolls around, your volume keeps growing. It doesn't, it wasn't like a one-hit wonder kind of thing. All right. By the way, you guys remember that when you enroll someone, you always do the wellness consult within a couple days of when their oils come, because that's when the energy is highest, right? Okay, just making sure you got that. So, happy BOGO week. I'll hop in, answer any questions later on. Share this post with your groups, with any builders on your team that need this message, because you guys, we have no shortage of people. There's enough BOGO for everybody, right? So, all right, happy BOGO week, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.